In my last travel video, I was leaving Slab City.
It's not really my kind of place, and I really want to get back to nature. So it was a nice visit, but reality says it's time to hit the road again.
From Slab City, I headed south on Highway 111, then went west on Highway 78, making a quick stop at Westmoreland. However, I thought I deserved one treat on the way.
Well, if you go through Westmoreland, you gotta try the date shake. It's great.
Next, I continued west on 78, then north on 86. Just before Salton City, I headed west on S22. 30 miles in is Borrego Springs. Borrego Springs is a gorgeous little town, an oasis in the desert, the polar opposite of Slab City. In the center park, you can relax under the palm trees and listen to the birds. Or if you really want a treat, grab some fresh grapefruit from the self-serve stand. The ironwork sculptures are tasteful and dot the landscape throughout the town. But I was just passing through, as I had another destination in mind. On the west end of town is Montezuma Road, which goes right up into the mountains. It's a little steep, but it's a really good road. That takes you through Anza Borrego Desert State Park and the free camping at Cult Valley. It's a beautiful little campground, with about a dozen sites, some with shade, and a couple of pit toilets.
After Slab City, it just feels so wonderful to be out in the wilderness boondocking again. What a gorgeous tree. I have no idea what it is. It's got broad leaves and little red flowers on it. But it's a great shade tree. It's nice and cool under here on a hot day. Something I really need right now, because I'm hoping this isn't going to be known as the technical difficulties tour, because I've had quite a few problems crop up in the last little while. The first one was my tablet heated up, thought it was going to catch on fire, and just totally fried. Hopefully that's just the battery, but I don't know right now. Also, my solar panels, one of my panels went, so I don't have all the solar panels I need, or the solar power I need to keep my cooler going. Also, the charger for my camera, it died. So, bad luck in threes, except four. I also broke my best pair of sunglasses.
But the worst issue was the solar panel, and I had to do something about it.
So I don't think it was to anybody's surprise that Jimmy rigging this old 30-year-old solar panel that I picked up for $20, it didn't work. The reality is I need a new solar panel. The top one's gone, the bottom one is sort of partially functioning, so I am very, very slowly charging my battery, but it's not enough. I can't run my cooler, recharge my laptop, or anything like that. So I have to buy a new flexible panel. Now, I did check a few places, and they're willing to sell me ones for around $350. But when I went online, they were a lot cheaper. Even Walmart sells them for, I think it was either $154 or $157. But what I found out is that I can get them off Amazon. Now, if you know, traveling with Amazon, they don't deliver if you don't have an address. They do have the Amazon lockers, but that's only for small packages. They won't accept big packages or large packages at an Amazon locker. So the other option is a post office, general delivery. I checked a few of those and no go. Not all will accept general delivery. However, there's a wonderful little town called Brawley in California, which does have a neat little post office, and they do accept general delivery. So that's what I did. I've ordered off Amazon. Hopefully it's going to be here in a day or two. I'll go back to Brawley, pick it up, and then I'll see if that works. In the meantime, it's left me in the Santa Rosa Mountains, which is about 4,000 feet above sea level, which is so much better than below sea level, which is the salton sea and the stink of the fish and the dust and all that. It's a lot cooler here. It's still hot, but it's really nice. And it gives me a chance to explore the mountains as well.
Off I went for a short hike. Although there is a groomed trail, I tend to go where my feet take me. A great place for cacti and unique rock formations. This one reminded me of a rooster, a happy frog, and here a snake or a reptile, which is no surprise with the amount of lizards around. Hard to see, but to the lower right is a very elusive desert iguana. I was determined to sneak up on him, but he saw me right away and ducked into the rock crevice. I did, however, discover why he was there, as the bush was full of flowers and bees right beside his perch. Nobody goes hungry, and even the crows find bugs in the ground. But the highlight of the trek was the view of the valley below. This is the Borrego Valley as seen from the mountains, the most western part of the Sonoran Desert. Unfortunately, I was off again too soon, as my solar panel had arrived. On returning to Borrego Springs, I headed south down Borrego Springs Road and then east to Highway 78. Ocotillo Wells is about 20 miles from Borrego Springs. After finding a nice spot with a little shade from an elephant tree, I left the trailer and headed to Brawley for the solar panel.
So today I'm thinking positive thoughts. It's going to be a really good day today because I have my solar panel. So, although it's a little noisy here, because I'm in Ocotillo Wells, which is a off-road vehicle park. And why am I in an off-road vehicle park? Well, because it's the only place around that's free, that has showers, that has washrooms, and it has some wide open space. So hopefully I'll be lucky. But I've got to try to replace one solar panel. And here we go.
You might have noticed my solar array has been redesigned since my first video on it. A new video is pending. To install the new panel, I removed the frame from the roof.
You got to start off early in the desert because it gets hot really quickly. When I went to get the panel yesterday, I came back and the trailer was 42 Celsius, which was 106 Fahrenheit. That's hot. So I'm going to keep it open today and hopefully that won't happen. But look at how much dust has accumulated just in that short period of time. I don't think I can take much more of this dust and dirt. I'm going to head to somewhere without any sand in the next little while. But anyway, I also got a new controller, new connectors, and I had some cable in case this doesn't work. So the first thing I got to do is take off the old panel, and it's just on there with sheet metal screws, so shouldn't be an issue. Although I did put glue on there as well, should be able to get that off.
Well, I was really wrong as to how difficult it was to get that glue off.
So I think there's a few lessons here. When you build something to last, make sure it's going to last. I used the stickiest, most permanent glue I could on these panels, assuming that the panels were going to last a long time. And unfortunately they didn't. So next time I will make it so they're easier to remove if I do have to replace a panel.
Just so you know, I still don't know why the panel failed, but it will be in an upcoming video. Along with the panel, I took this opportunity to upgrade the solar controller. My old one was only 10 amps, so I replaced it with a new 20 amp version. Fortunately, the new one was almost the exact same size, so it fit nicely in the same spot. The change-out didn't really take that long, except for the glue issue, of course, so I put the array back on the roof for testing. In the hot desert sun, it took hardly any time to get the batteries up to full charge again. The operation was a success. With the desert heat in full swing, I had one other ace up my sleeve.
So I know some might have thought, you know, you're out here in the desert and you don't have air conditioning, you're gonna fry. Well, not necessarily, because having the A-frame has some incredibly neat advantages if you want to stay cool. Like, for example, you take the table out on one side, you put your favorite chair in, and you do this. And you can sit, read a book, have a drink, and keep cool. Well, I'm sure there's one wise guy out there that's going to say, what does that solve, Slim? Because then you have to put the side up and down all the time to get in. Well, then maybe you should just leave it up. Because now you got shade on one side, especially when the sun's on that side, but if you leave the door open, you still get flow. It's a little bit like riding in the back of an old buggy or a carriage or something. I just wish somebody could pull me around so I get an even better cool breeze. The nice thing is, I've got the cooler on so I can just reach down and grab a cold beer if I want. Nothing I need, and I'm airing out the trailer. It's like win-win. Did I happen to mention that with the side down, I get the nice cool breeze, I've got access to outlets, that my solar panels are charging because the roof is actually up, I've got great lighting, and I've got a wonderful breeze and a panoramic view. What more could you want for an office?
Well, in reality, there was one thing I wish I had. Peace and quiet. But rather than gripe about it, I decided to find out what all the noise was all about. As I mentioned before, this area was specifically designated for off-road vehicles, and one of the most popular places was at a sand dune. I had no doubt they were all having a great time challenging the steep climb in the sand with their dune buggies and motorcycles. In an already eroded environment, it certainly didn't do any further harm. But playing in the sand was something I gave up years ago. So at dawn the next day, with repairs all done, it was time for me to move on.
So if you like peace and quiet, nature trails, clear, clean air, then you're totally at the wrong place in Okatela Wells. Because the air is dirty, it's dusty, it's noisy. It is not for nature lovers. It's for boys with toys.
With at least one problem now behind me, I set off on a new adventure to see what other surprises awaited.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and check out my other ones, and always go where the road takes you.